What's going on, guys? Welcome in here to season 3. We had an outstanding year 2 after a horrible year 1. So, heads over heels, one of the best season changes I've had ever in franchise mode history. Went from last place to the conference finals. If you didn't watch it, go ahead and go check it out. Links should be up here, or it should be down in the comments. Go check those out if you haven't watched them already. Don't want to spoil it for you. Major changes brought here. We brought the Arizona Coyotes to Utah. Utah had a struggle that first year, and then we lit it up year 2. Utah became a force to be reckoned with. We're going to be trying to run it back with the same team here. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Quick look at the lines before we jump into year 3. We have Michelli there with Reinhart and Keller still on the first line with a +3 boost. Gunther with Cooley and Fogle. Gunther's up to an 86, and that's still at low franchise. Logan Cooley's up to an 86, and Fogel's at an 87, which is awesome to see. Carcone's up on that third line with Josh Donuts at an 84, and Lecker Mackey coming up from the AHL. We also brought McBain with Geeky and Fedotov. On defense, we have Bean and Hakanpää rocking that first line again. Moser and Dursey on the second, and Fleury and Soderstrom on that third pairing. And in net, again, we have Spencer Knight and Connor Ingram. Connor Ingram up to an 83. So pretty much running that same team back. Got some, definitely younger pieces that came in that might be a little bit better. So I'm really excited to see what we can accomplish this season. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I also got to check out the AHL lines. AHL lines are looking like this. I'm not going to call everybody out, but this is what they're starting to look like. Defense, I'm starting to have a couple of guys come in that we drafted that, top 60 or top 4D, I should say. High top 4D here. We have a couple of guys that are starting to come in here. Morden, Kalachunek, he's a medium top 6. So a couple of guys that might make it to the NHL here at some point, but they're finally starting to make it into our AHL lineup. And then rocking it in the pipes are probably the same 2 guys. And yeah, we definitely need some help in there, but Eli Vinny, or I keep calling him, he will be forever Eli Vinny to me, will be our goalie of the future here, so I'm not too concerned about our goaltending. We do have a couple of guys that are scratched here that we may have to move on from, so before we jump into the season, I may have to make a trade or two, but let's jump right into it. So we're going to run it back, same team here, a couple of additions, let's see what we can do. First month sim, here we go. After month 1, Reinhart leading the team there in 7 points in 8 games. Tied with him is Keller. Hakanpää up there with 7 points in 8 games. That's crazy for the guy. He's down to an 82 now. Fogle up there with 6 points. He's down to an 86. Cooley, 86 still. Gunther, 86 still. 6 points in 8 games. Michelli. Jake Bean, 5 and 8. Geeky's got 3 and 8. Lecker Mackey's got 2 and 8. So some of our young guys are starting to contribute. It's still the same handful, though. Keller, Reinhart, and Michelli line is always contributing. I think that's going to be one of our better lines, for this whole rebuild, really. And then if we start looking at the goaltenders here, goaltender Spencer Knight with a 908 and a 261, and Connor Ingram there with a 909 and a 272. So both goalies playing decently well. For a little bit more there from Knight. Let's hope he keeps contributing a little bit more. After that first month, let's sim through another, and let's see how we're doing. So after month 2, we're doing extremely well here. Pioneers are 16-7-0. We're first in the Central with 32 points. Look at the team here. Sam Reinhart, 28 points in 23 games. Definitely looking pretty stellar. That whole first line here, Michelli and Keller, 24 and 22 points respectively. That whole first line contributing pretty well. Gunther with Fogle and Cooley there now are starting to produce. Gunther's still rocking that low franchise potential. Love to see that. Hakanpää and Bean there contributing. Take a look at the goalies. 911 and a 281 from Spencer Knight, and a 939 and a 203 from Connor Ingram. So again, goalies are looking pretty good. Taking a look here at the AHL, Thornton and Wall definitely not looking great, but they're not very high overall, and we really weren't expecting much from them this season. I have Eli Vinny, we will forever know him as that, coming up in the league here soon, so I didn't want to take the spot away from him. Duda and Fedotov there leading the team. Duda is a young defenseman coming up here, so it's good to see that he's leading the team in points. Fedotov leading the team here as well. Ratty, Yamamoto, Costins, so some other familiar faces. With some other good things going on here, let's jump into another month. Let's get to the end of December, and let's see how we're looking. So like I said, we're just going to sim through the month of December here and see how we do. Not a great month for the team there, but still leading the division. We got 46 points. We're 22, 12, and 2 now. 38 points for Reinhart in 36 games. Reinhart, Keller, and Michelli there still leading the team. Gunther with 29. Cooley and Fogel there with 25 and 22. Hockenpah, Carcone, and Bean. Another check at the goalies. 908 and a 2-9 for Spencer Knight. And they only have Connor Ingram playing about 5 games so far, but he's got a 936 and a 225. Like I said, both goalies are looking pretty decent. Team's looking good, so I think we just keep rolling here. I think we're just going to sim right up to the trade deadline because I don't think we're going to make many changes again. I think we're just going to roll right through the trade deadline and see how we do going to the playoffs again. I think this team is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And after simming up to the trade deadline here, it's a tight race here in the Central. We're tied with the Wild there for most points in the Central with 72. We have a game in hand, though. It's going to be really tight. I don't know if we're going to make it or not. I really hope we do. We've been a really good team all year long. Take a look at the other teams, though, here. The Ducks have the other wild card position. 80 points leads and 89 points leads in the other divisions. I think this team, like I said, we're a really good team. Sam Reinhart there with 60 points. Sure, that first line still leading. They are. Keller with 57, Michelli with 53. Michelli is still, he's up there in 89, 91, and a 90. They're still rocking their overalls. Gunther there is still his low franchise, still in 86 with 41 points. Cooley and Fogel leading the team there in the points besides the first line. Double check the goalies. Again, still doing stellar. Unless there's something crazy on the block here at the trade deadline, I really don't think we're going to make any big moves. This team is poised to make another long run. I think they are really ready. We're a young team. We have a lot of pieces, lots of cap space. We're destined to be a dynasty for a long time here. We have 2 generations of players that we can run through here. We have, obviously our first line of players, and then that Cooley and Gunther, and we have another whole wave of defensemen coming in here. So I'm really excited to see what we can do. I'm not willing to spend all of our pieces now because we have some pieces here to make a move. So again, if there's nothing really big, I say we just don't make the move. I say we just stay the course and we do what we did last year and we just see what we can do and you enjoy it. And with that, I think we're just going to jump right here into the trade deadline and we'll see what's out there. Top guys on the block here: Thomas Hurdle, Theodore, Olmark, Anderson, McCann, Kemp, Askarov, Stephenson, Monahan, and Ferraro. It's not every day you see Alex Ovechkin on the block here. 1 year, $9.5 million. He's an 86 overall. What a pickup he would be for this playoff run. Carcone there is playing on our third line, I believe, and giving up a second. That's not a lot for Alex Ovechkin, obviously. He's got 99 poise. I think this is going to be a good trade for us. Let's see what they say. Trade rejected.
We're going to add a 3rd round pick here.
Trades accepted. We'll take that one. I like it for us. Yet again, there's not a lot here at the deadline, so I think we're going to move on. That Alex Ovechkin trade, I think is going to be massive for us. Like I said, not every day you pick up the best goal scorer of all time in Alex Ovechkin. Kevin Ball is getting waived here by Utica. He's a 79 overall, high top 6D. I think we're going to claim him. He's 6'6". Yeah, we'll claim him. Quick look at the lines there after the trade deadline. Alex Ovechkin getting out of there to the second line, I think is massive. So now we have Michelli, Reinhart, Keller, Gunther, Cooley, Ovechkin, Fogel, Doan, Leckermacky, McBain, Geeky, and Hayden. And on defense, we're still rocking those same lines. I gotta switch it up here. I forgot Hockenpah and Bean up there on the first, Thursday and Moser, and Fleury and Soderstrom. And then rocking it in the pipes, we still have Spencer Knight at 86 overall. I'm really excited to see what this team can do this season. So let's go ahead. Let's get simming. Let's get to the end of the season here and let's see where we are. And let's see if we made the playoffs. And if so, let's see how far we can go again. So we're going to sim right ahead here to the end of the season and we're going to see where we're at. And it came down to the wire there. We ended up getting 3rd place. We had 96 points. We were 1 point from being a wild card team. 1 point from being the top of the division with the Avalanche. So it was a really tight Central Division this year. Taking a look at the rest of the league, 105 points for the Canucks there. They kind of just took over that division. 110, 108, 100 for the Maple Leafs, Bruins, and Lightning. And there the Panthers and the Sabres make the playoffs on the other side. And then the Rangers and the Penguins and the Hurricanes make it on that side. Very competitive. It seemed like it was a very tight year this year. Look at the points for individuals. Sam Reinhart there with 81 points. 82 games. Keller was 79 and 82. Michelli was 70 and 82. So he's still rocking his 89. Ovechkin, let's see what he did while he was with us. 18 points in 20 games. That's actually really not bad for, you know, a 40-year-old jumping in there on our team with Gunther and Cooley. It's cool to see. Fogle there, Moser and Doan and Bean with 36, 33, and 32 and 82. Let's take a look at the goalies. Spencer Knight with a 9, 10, and a 2, 8. Let's hope it's a little bit better in the playoffs, but definitely good enough. Connor Ingram there. He was at .916 and a 266. Like I said, Connor Ingram's just been doing really well for us in that backup position for a while now. And our opponent is the Minnesota Wild in the first round. As usual, we're going to sim those first 4 games, and we're going to see how we're doing. Wow, after 4 games, we're down 1-3. Man, it's going to be tough to come back here. Let's try to sim another game and see how we do. And we lose. Oh, we're out in the first round. That's so tough. We don't add anything last year. We make it to the conference finals. I add Ovi. I'm trying to bring him another cup. I'm trying to bring us some more depth, and we get knocked out in the first round. Oh, that's so difficult. That's unfortunate. Let's take a look here at the points. I have to see why we lost here. Look at the points here in the playoffs. Logan Cooley, 7 points in 5 games. So he started playing here. Where was Reinhart? Reinhart just not enough. 4 points in 5 games. Ovechkin there with 4 points in 5 games. We gotta look at what the goaltending was like. Spencer Knight, man. Oh, that's not good enough. At 894 and a 349, that is just not good enough there. Spencer Knight, the man that brought us through last year, that made it pretty hard for us to lose. This year, he was the reason why we were losing. That's tough. Since we're knocked out, we're just going to sim all the way through to next season. We're going to see who the awards and the Stanley Cup champion winner is. Oh my goodness. I didn't even notice. Our AHL team ended up winning the Calder Cup. That's awesome to see. I didn't even realize that they even had a chance at it. The Calder Cup champions are the Tuscan Roadrunners, and the Stanley Cup champions, the Minnesota Wild. So again, we lose to the Stanley Cup champions. It's a bit odd, but again, we get knocked out by the Stanley Cup champions, the eventual Stanley Cup champions. So I guess it's okay. Cool to see that our AHL team is winning the AHL though, so that's awesome to see. And there are lottery results. Not that we really have anything in the lottery there. Take a look at the retiring players here. Malkin, Pavelski, Phil Kessel there. He ends with 1,007 points. Good for him. Wheeler, Parise, Letang. A couple big names leaving this year. Take a look at the goalies. Quick's retiring. He was playing in San Jose. Reimer, Dell. Only big name there, in my opinion, was Quick. And we're going to stop here. Quick look at the awards. Stanley Cup champions, Minnesota Wild. President's Trophy goes to the Maple Leafs. Minnesota with the Campbell. Boston Bruins with the Prince of Wales. Individual awards, McKinnon with the Art Ross. Robertson with the Hart. Makar with the Norris. Lady Bing goes to Robertson. Groshev gets the call there from Tampa. Conn Smythe goes to Kaprizov. Demko gets the Vezina. Demko gets the Jennings. And Bouchard gets to Bill Masterton. The Flyers coach gets to Jack Adams. The Benajak gets to Selke. Head Lindsay goes to Robertson as well. So Robertson cleaned up. And McKinnon with the Maurice Richard. I'm not going to say all the AHL ones, but I'll show them again. Demidov getting the most valuable player there. So cool to see for Demidov. Duda got the most outstanding rookie and the most best defenseman. So Duda is popping off for us there this year. Yamamoto, and they've gotten the most valuable player of the Calder Cup playoffs. And Thornton there was the best goaltender. It looked like the best goals against average. And obviously looking at the team awards, our team won the Calder Cup. We also won the West. We won the regular season. And we also won the Western Conference Championship. So again, really good season for us. Really good to see. Duda there leading our team in points with 865. He's up to an 81 overall, so he'll probably be in the NHL next year. Looking at the other points here. Simashev up to an 81 as well. So we're going to have some tough decisions here to make with our defensemen this next upcoming season. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get it here in the draft, and let's see what we can pick up here. So before we jump into the draft, look at Michelli. He wants an extension here. He wants 2 years, but he was looking at like 9 million. I looked at 3 years. He's looking for 7.6, so I was going to offer him 7.5 for 3 years. I think that's a pretty good deal for Michelli. He's down to an 87 overall now, but he was definitely playing pretty well. He put up about 8 points last year, so go ahead and offer him that contract extension. Cooley here wants an extension as well. He's going pretty cheap. I'll give him an 8-year deal. We'll go 7-year deal, $6 million. I think it's a great steal of a deal for Logan Cooley as well. If he signs that, I think that's going to be a great deal for us. I believe that's it. So we're just going to jump in here to the NHL draft. And Seattle ends up picking up this medium franchise Benstrom guy. He's 83 overall. What a pickup for them. That's going to be huge. Gavin McKenna as well is an 83 medium franchise. Oh my goodness. LA's getting of a player as well. All right, so we're trying to make a trade here with the Winnipeg Jets for their 4th overall pick. We're going to do another guy for the roster spot. We're going to give up the 22nd overall pick for Hayden and Fedotov as well, going to the Jets. Trade rejected. Let's give them a 4th and let's see what they say. Trade rejected. Let's see what they say to a 3rd. Trades accepted. And with that being said, we get to make our pick here at number 4, and we're picking up the last guaranteed medium elite in this draft. He's a 79 overall two-way forward. That is a heck of a pickup for us there. I think that's going to be another huge thing coming into next season. We're making another trade here with the Montreal Canadiens for the 33rd overall pick. We're going to give up the 56th in K. Doc prospect. He's a top 9 forward. To see what they say. Trades accepted. So the reason we've traded up to 33 here is we had a guy that was rated a gem by our staff here. I don't really know why. They say he's an AHL top 2D. So it's going to be interesting. Let's see what he actually is here. Medium top 4D. We have a ton of those, but it's also a good thing in the 2nd round. We're going to trade to move down to the New Jersey Devils. We're getting the 70th pick and the 5th next year for the 54th. See what they say. Trades accepted. And here at pick number 70, we have another gem from our scouts. We're going to pick him up. It says he's a low top 6. 64 low top 6. Not a bad pickup. I guess it's not terrible. I don't know why our scouts are saying he's going to be good, but hopefully he'll turn into something good. So we got a trade here with Vegas. We're just going to be swapping 3rds and 5ths. Let's see what they say. Trades accepted. So our scouts also see this guy here, Clayton. He's a low franchise according to them. 2 bars. Let's see what he actually is. Wow, low elite. So good pickup by us there in the 4th round. I believe this is the last pickup we have. Nick Anderson's. He's a gem from our scouts. He's a 2-way defenseman. Let's see what he actually is. Another low elite. So that's good to see here. We got some more low elites coming into the system in the 5th round. So since there's no one else in the draft that we're really looking to pick up, I was just going to trade our 6th round pick for a next year's 6th round pick from the Calgary Flames. Let's try to do this trade. They accept. And then we're just going to sim to the rest of the draft. And at the end of the draft there, I believe that was a really extremely nice draft for us. The 4th overall pick, the 33rd overall pick, the 70th. We had quite a few low elites there. They might be a low overall, but they might turn into something. If not something, they are trade pieces. So lots of good things coming in here to Utah going into year 4. Now that the draft is all over, go ahead and sim to the re-sign phase. And Michelli signs that extension with us. We have him for 3 more years. That's awesome to see. And Cooley signs an extension with us. That's going to be a really good contract long term. 8 years at $6 million, I believe, for Logan Cooley. That's going to be a heck of a contract long term. First extension we're going to give out is Jake Bean here. 4-year extension for 4.5. Let's see what he says. I think we're going to hold off on Ovechkin for a minute. Warren Fogel's down to an 84 overall at 30 years old. He put up, see what his stats were last year, 44 points last year in 82 games. We did throw him down to the 3rd line there towards the end of the year. I believe if we keep Ovi, we're not going to want to keep him. Yeah. So between the 2 of them, which one I'm going to keep, we'll find out here. Josh Doan, what does he want here for an extension? $2 million. Oh my goodness, he wants to be cheap. I am keeping him here the entire franchise, so I'm going to pay him that $4 million for 8 years. I think that's a heck of a contract for him. He's been on our 3rd line here most of the franchise so far. 8 years, $4 million. We'll bring in Josh Jones for the rest of the franchise. Iserman, we got to sign him. He's an 83 overall now. We're signing him into his entry-level deal. Soderstrom here, he wants a contract extension. See, and we have a tough thing here with a couple of the defensemen we have coming up too. Looking at defensemen we have in the system here, we have quite a few defensemen that are actually coming up, that are actually developing. So unfortunately, I think it's time to move on from Hakanpää. He's been a really great addition here, but I think it's time to move on from him. We're at least going to qualify Soderstrom here. He's worth something. I'm not sure if we're going to bring him back 100%, but we're definitely going to qualify him. Fleury here, what do you want? We'll do 1 year, $1 million again. I feel like you're good for a depth defenseman. Defenseman here at 25. We're just going to qualify you. A 7th D. We'll qualify you for like the AHL or something. Same thing. Qualify you for the AHL. It's time to bring the high top 4 defensemen in. 2 of them, the pair, they're coming into the AHL. I probably shouldn't have qualified those other guys, but it doesn't mean we have to bring them in to play in the AHL. Badinka here, also same thing. We got to offer him his contract. Sumner, I'm just going to qualify you here. Vaeson, we have to offer you your contract. And then we have a couple other guys here that need contracts. They're a little bit younger. They don't need their contract quite yet, so we're going to hold off on them. We're going to qualify the rest of our RFAs here. I just noticed we're outside of the roster spots, so we're probably going to lose Yamamoto here as well, but that's fine. We're going to lose a couple of these guys. We're going to qualify the rest of the RFAs. Once they do that, I believe we're probably going to send them to the re-sign phase, see who signs, see who doesn't. We'll move on from there. And here it's time to sign Vinny. We do need to sign him. We're going to sign him to his entry-level deal. Olsen to back him up. The tandem coming up at the same time. I like to see it. And then we're just going to qualify the other backup from last year. Jake Bean rejects our offer there. Hayden Fleury also rejects. Josh Doan renews with us, though. Cole Eiserman signs. Solali signs. Parkake signs. Badinka signs. Olsen signs. Vinny signs. Baskin signs. We're going to offer Jake Bean 2 years then at 4.8. We'll see what he says. So unfortunately, with the rest of the roster spots, we only have one more. So I'm going to have to grab onto Jake Bean. I'm going to make a few trades when free agency opens up, and I'm going to try to grab the rest of the guys that we can. And then we're going to see who else is open in free agency. 22 million in cap space. Probably got about 4 million going to Jake Bean. So we're going to have 18 million in cap space here to see what we can do. See what we can do in free agency. All right. So my last attempt here at Jake Bean before the free agency window opens. 5 million for 2 years. We'll see what he says. And Jake Bean does re-sign with us. Get our number one defenseman basically back. So that's huge. And McBain signs with us. And we're starting to get a couple of those RFA signings. And let's just advance the day. And we are in free agency. I'm going to trade here with the Anaheim Ducks. They have Hellison here on the block. 6'3", 25-year-old defenseman. He fits on our first line pairing. We're going to trade 2 prospects here in Zahn and Greer. Let's see what they say. Trade accepted. So now that we traded for Hellison, we're actually going to try to sign him here. 2 years, 3.8 million. Let's see what he says. So I believe this is my prospect here in Bartley. He's a 2-way play. He's still a 56 overall, and he's a low elite. So we're going to sign him here. I guess we'll see what he turns into. I'm kind of curious. Only one other 2-way signing I wanted to make here. Let's see what he says. And since we didn't bring in Fogle or Alexander Ovechkin, I thought it would be even better to bring in a guy like Alex Tuch. A lot of teams are interested in him. He won 4 years. I'll bring him in for 1 year. 1 year, 8.5. Let's see what he says. And with those couple of signings, we're going to advance a few days. Bartley signs with us. Igor, I'm not even going to try to butcher that name, signs with us. That's awesome. Hellison signs with us. That's awesome as well. And there it is. It looks like we end up picking Alex Tuch up here. That is an awesome pickup for us as well. That is huge going into this year 4. I think it's going to be an amazing pickup for the second line. And with all those signings being done, we're going to head and sim to the next season. And I believe that's going to be it for this year. Lecker Mackey signs. Quick look at the team here going into year 4. Michelli, Reinhart, and Keller still rocking that first line there. Yzerman was our first pick ever as a team here in Utah. We picked up Cole Yzerman. He's been waiting in here in the minors. He finally comes in. He's an 85 overall now. Logan Cooley and Gunther, so the young gun line there. Dylan Gunther is still a low franchise, 82 overall. Lecker Mackey with Doan and Tuch. I think that's going to be a heck of a line there as well. With Denisenko, I believe he grew in our system too, with Geeky and McBain. And on defense, we had a few changes here actually. So Duda up from the AHL. I believe he was player of the year last year. So he's playing as an 83 right now. He's up on that first line, getting a +2 bonus with Soderstrom. Moser and Dursey there on the second pair, and Simashev and Hellison there on the third pair. Jake Bean may not be on this team very much longer. We may have to move on from him. He doesn't really fit on this team anymore, so he may be on the chopping block. And then looking at the net, we have Spencer Knight. Quick look at the AHL team. Vinny and Olsen rocking the pipe there in the AHL. It looked like Vinny might actually be coming into the NHL sooner rather than later. He's 20 years old now. He's 80 overall. He still has that medium elite status. He might be fighting for that net with Spencer Knight here soon. We got Pitlick, Jenkins, and Douglas. Ratty. Yeah, I'm not going to say everyone in here, but we have a pretty good looking AHL team here. We have a 58, but he is a low elite. So actually, I'm going to try to get him higher up here in the lineup. And then we still have Ball here, actually, in the AHL with Silyev and Parka. And Parka and Kulishev are actually going up, and they're moving up in the lineup. Parchev is our high 4D. I believe we traded for him in the first draft as well. Lots of growth here. I like to see it. Again, I said it last year. I was really excited to see what was going to happen in year 3. It was kind of disappointing to see us get knocked out in the first round, but we're back and ready better than ever. We're still under the cap, which is great to see. We have these young guys that are just starting to develop to get into the system. I am very, very excited to see what's ahead of this team. It's been a much different outing, I would say, in Utah here so far. The Pioneers have been a much better team than anyone ever thought they'd be. Michelli grew into something that no one ever thought he'd be. Iserman's grown now. Cooley's here. Gunther's here. We pull in a guy like Alex Tuck. Our defense is starting to grow. Spencer Knight's starting to play like the elite goalie that he is. Nothing but things that can go right here going into year 4. Can't wait for year 4. Let's make sure you check it out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that bell and subscribe so you know every time we drop a video here on the channel. Also, make sure you hit our other channels at SellyHard, at Twitch, Instagram, and X for all our up-to-date content on our other platforms. We'll catch you next time, and peace.